Hello, I'd like to speak with you about autism, special interests and hyperfixation, especially in relation to myself at the moment and the Eurovision Song Contest. So I'm going to take off my Verka Serdushka headpiece so I can focus more on the video and speaking. Right, as we know, it's the Eurovision Song Contest coming up about 15-20 miles away in Liverpool. For years, I never thought the Eurovision Song Contest could ever come to the UK again, let alone very close to me. I've loved the Eurovision Song Contest since being a kid. I remember watching it with my parents, but since 2000s-ish, it's become more and more of an interest of mine. I had a bit of a hiccup a few years ago. I started listening to the songs before the contest actually happened, the final. And I really got into one song, really heavily emotionally invested in it and thought it was brilliant. I still do. And the song came last. It really knocked me for six for a while afterwards. It really crushed me. So I resolved not to get so invested in the Eurovision Song Contest again, but I still kind of do. It's something that really captures me. I love a lot of the songs, especially in the modern era of Eurovision. There's some good stuff that comes through each year, songs which deserve to be remembered. Anyway, 2020 with the pandemic, it was kind of a bit flat. In the past couple of years with kind of associations of it being about war, not about war, with the Ukraine and Russia invasion, it's left me with a strange residue. But this year, with it having come so close, I can't ignore it. Now, tying this into autism, it is a perennial special interest of mine. I don't usually go on about it all year, but as it comes around, I get more excited about it. This year has been particularly exciting for me because it's just been so close, so nearby. I have felt myself feel so energized by this. I haven't felt myself so invested, so caught up in something for a very long time. I'm talking maybe 6-7 years, potentially even longer. There have been times in my life when I've got so invested in an event, something going on which I love. Well, I've talked about it for weeks. Now I know this is my autism going, hello, it's me. You really love this. But I've become really hyperfixated on Eurovision. I love it, but it's beginning to get really tiring. We're about 10 days away from the final. Next week sees semi-finals. I've been to Liverpool once to get this stuff. I've made my Verka Serdushka headpiece, you saw at the start, for fancy dress. I wake up in the morning, it's there in my head. Practically the first thing I think about, if not the first thing, it's there through the day. Almost anything I think about, my head starts trying to relate Eurovision to it. And then in the evening, it's there. I'm listening to the songs. I'm finding it hard to listen to anything else apart from Eurovision music. So if you're watching and you're not into Eurovision, just accept that I love it, yeah. I can feel the energy coursing through me at times. Again, I've not felt this energized by something for years, which is really good. That there's a vibrancy, there's an uplift in my wings, which I've missed as a kid, as a teenager, and in my 20s. This energy was there so much of the time about different things, mainly about my then expression of Christianity, which was as a very zealous evangelical fundamentalist Christian. Now, various things have happened along the years which have dissociated me from that, and I find I'm actually more of a nature-centered faith and spirituality, and it's actually quite alien to me now, that much of that faith. So this is the thing with autism, this hyperfixation. It's exhausting. Everything in my head going on all day is about Eurovision. The energy is a good thing. I know that I'm going to have a big drop off after Eurovision and the final. I'm hoping to get to Liverpool for maybe one, maybe both of the semis to get down to the waterfront area. I'm going to a screening. There's a weird kind of disappointed energy around it as well, because I'd really hoped to get tickets to the final, to get a couple of my children along there with me, and twice I've tried and that's gone. So that's a bit disappointing, and having left it late to look at alternatives for Liverpool City Centre, everywhere there is booked up for the final. I'd really hoped to be there, immersing, riding, connecting with that wave of love. So yeah, the Hyperfixation is at a stage where I'm having to really focus to get any side tasks done. Admin, tidying things, putting things in order. Yeah, it's really quite interesting how it's taken centre stage, and I can just feel it. So anyway, if there are any other autistics with Eurovision as a special interest, or even as a hyperfixation at the moment, do let me know. Say hi, and check in on me in the few days following Eurovision, because I will be coming down from this wave of energy, which I'm already kind of getting a little bit tired from, but I know that isn't going to let me go until Eurovision has completed. I hope I've got some good things to carry me forward from that, and not end in a kind of crushing disappointment or sense of absence of Eurovision. One of my coping mechanisms for trying to get me letting off some steam from Eurovision has been to indulge in other franchises that I love, other interests, particularly picking my way through X-Files episodes one a night if I can, which help put my mind into a different place completely. If you're going through a hyperfixation, what do you use as a coping mechanism? Do let me know. Oh, hello, Pooch. Good boy, yeah.